Hi, my name is Renata Verastegui. I'm a bilingual teacher at Tatum Elementary.
And my name is Omar Solis. I'm a fifth grade teacher, math and science at Tatum Elementary as well, an instructional lead teacher K-2 in math, and an AFL lead.
It is a pleasure for us to be invited to present at this Assessment for Learning conference. We will be sharing with you some of our experiences on how the practices of the AFL program help us mitigate the learning loss that has happened due to the pandemic. These experiences have accelerated the learning for our scholars through increasing the students' agency. As we are all aware, once the pandemic started last year, all of our kids nationwide began to struggle with lockdowns, social distancing measures, and emotional stress. More specifically, they suffered the impact of a school closing their doors, forcing them to receive classes online. As a result, there was a slowdown in their academic progress, and many were left out of school for months. In the educational setting, this has been referred to as the COVID slide, and parents, teachers, and the whole community have been working extremely hard on how to get back students on track, especially low-income students such as ours. Tatum Elementary is part of the Dallas Independent School District, and our population is made of 45% African-American students, 52% Hispanics, and 3% others. We are 98% economically disadvantaged. 11% of our kids are SPED, and 19 are in the TAC program. Our district has done an outstanding job providing each student with computers and connectivity to guarantee that remote learning will cover most of our population. However, returning to classes continues to be a dramatic challenge for all. And that is why the AFL program has been an essential and pivotal component in accelerating recovery from the COVID slide. AFL has given us teachers tools that are meaningful and relevant for all types of learners and help us create students that self-regulate their learning with the appropriate guidance of teachers to reach their academic goals. My Classroom 4C has been a reference not only to our school, but also to the district, as despite the nation's battle with learning loss, these students has grown significantly in the district common assessment and the MAP, with a large majority of these students finishing in the 90th percentile of growth and achievement in math and reading. This growth is a product of intentionally working to increase a student's ownership in learning. The AFL program came to our school this year, and as we can see here, we have the 10 dimensions that we've been trying to implement in our classroom. Using these practices has changed the focus to students as they have started to internalize what they're learning and how they can reach their goal. It has also given me, as a teacher, an opportunity to look at my kids individually and recognize the importance of differentiating their feedback, as the students might be struggling with different success criteria or be at different levels within the lesson. I have also implemented metacognitive strategies. I want them to become self-directed learners. As part of my intentional approach to inclusion, I've developed in the classroom some principles that guide me as an educator to meet my teaching needs. First, I establish a climate that fosters belonging for all students. I always tell them that they belong to the best class of Dallas ISD. I have a very close relationship with them. I know their names, what they like, their family, but more importantly, they know me. They know my family and they feel as part of my daily life. Second, I have explicit goals and expectations for each one of them. My kids know where they are, where they should be, and they believe that what we're doing in the classroom will lead them towards their goal. Third, I use real-life examples of how to apply concepts. I try to relate as much as possible what they're learning to their everyday experiences, so my message goes beyond the school practice. I want them to go home and talk to their parents and tell them what they're learning throughout the day. Four, I use metacognitive strategies, as I mentioned before. I want them to think what the task is, plan how to solve it, evaluate their progress, and correct themselves as needed. Finally, I listen to their ideas. I want them to be part of my everyday process. I have also included teacher clarity. Since the practices started, the students were introduced to new vocabulary. They already knew what the learning objective is, but they didn't know what success criteria was. So we started to work, and as you can see in the picture, I have a waterfall for reading and for math, as I'm doing it simultaneously in Spanish and English to enhance vocabulary and to reach the whole group. After we have learned the vocabulary, we also work on the strategies. Basically, I want them to feel comfortable selecting the most appropriate for them. So as you can see in this picture, we were working in fractions, how to represent the fractions, and I gave them 5 different choices. So when we are co-creating the success criteria, they can select the strategy that they like the most. Once we finish with this process, we move on to this co-creation of the success criteria. Once my students were aware of their expectations, the learning objective, we move into co-creating the success criteria for in the moment evaluation. Let me show you a video of one of my students helping me to create the success criteria.
Ok, lee la pregunta. ¿Qué significa la palabra o forma en el párrafo? Ok, y entonces. Voy a analizarla. Analízala, esa es parte de tu qué? De tu success criteria, ¿verdad? ¿Lo puedo? Sí, con Z. Analizar. ¿Por qué tienes que analizar la pregunta? ¿Por qué es tan importante, dime, Iván? Para que sabes lo que están pidiendo. Para que sepas, no, para que sepas lo que te están pidiendo. Esa es la parte más importante porque de esa manera puedo saber qué. ¿Cómo qué? Si yo sé lo que me están pidiendo, sé qué. ¿Cómo responder? ¿Cómo responderla claramente? Ok, muñeca, analiza.
Here, the metacognitive strategies, analysis, selection, and elimination come handy as I model what they should do, how they should do it, and finally together, I take them to develop the plan for the next steps in their assessment of learning. Feedback and questioning have been present throughout the whole development of their thinking. Once they finish with the success criteria, we move on into self-assessment. In the first video, we're going to see one of my students self-assessing himself.
Okay, Evan, can you please tell me, how do you evaluate yourself?
By checking if I could do the success criteria.
Perfect. Let's do it.
So, was I able to analyze the question?
Were you able to analyze the question?
Yes.
Yes, right? You find out that the question was about? Please tick yourself. Very good. What else were you able to do?
Use the strategy.
Use the strategy, which is what?
Strategy.
The formula, where do you find the formula?
Right here. And the reference.
In the reference material. Very good. Thank you.
Every day in class, I show them what I would do if I were the student having to solve a problem. I model mistakes and I model how I will self-evaluate myself. Then I ask them to come and try to solve a problem on the board. It is incredible to see how the students' confidence has increased from the simple exercise of pushing everyone to participate. In this second video, we're going to see a student receiving a feedback from his peers.
Can we get him a ground? What did he do right? Tell me. That is the most important part of all. He analyzed correctly the question and he found out what was the question about.
And at the end of the presentation, you will be able to see the whole video. Finally, I want to show you something that we also do in the classroom, which is developing culture of learning. It's very important to me that students feel secure and free to take risks. Even more, I want them to know that they can make mistakes without feeling the pressure of others making fun of them. In this video that was made for an empathy training, I interviewed one of my students that don't participate much and usually is very shy to express his emotions.
Tell me about your favorite class.
My favorite class is in 4th grade.
What did you enjoy about that class? What does your teacher do to make you feel safe?
She told us if we get things wrong, we could just sometimes do it again and again.
Okay.
He's a perfect example, as he's one of my tier 3 students, and still he feels comfortable and enjoys being part of the class. All of this has been part of what I've done using the AFL practices in my classroom, and the impact on my kids has been really, really great.
And now we're going to talk about self-assessment in 5th grade using technology. As a 5th grade teacher, the integration of technology is very important, especially during this period, during the pandemic. So I had to train our students to access their data from the latest assessment in All in Learning, which is the platform that we use to collect the data, and then identify their low TEK, the Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills in that assessment as part of their self-assessment process. So as you can see in these pictures, it's one of my students entering the All in Learning, going into their file for that assessment, and then identifying the lowest C. And all my students are able to do that. And then they access their interactive virtual math journal, where they can find all the TEKs with resources like access to interactive lessons, anchor charts, samples, and activities for each TEKs, where they can improve their areas of growth on their own. And I'm going to show you right now a little bit of this interactive virtual journal. So as you can see, the table of content manage all these areas where they can go and click, the students can go and click, for example, algebraic reasoning. Then they click again, and there's the different TEKs related to that area. So let's say that student A is low in 5.4F, they click on it, and then it will take them to the main page for that SC, student expectation. So then they can go to the interactive lesson again to review what they needed to review and relearn, or they can go to their pages on the book where they have notes and review the knowledge. And then they have also another review sheet with the steps needed to relearn the same objective. And at the end, they have an anchor chart as support. Going back to our presentation, we're gonna talk about our data. So CA Tatum Elementary accelerating learning data against the district. Tatum Elementary has constantly grown in achievement despite many factors affecting our community, especially the pandemic. And we keep surpassing the district in every grade level and every subject greatly because of the implementation of the AFL, the Assessment for Learning. As you can see in the picture, as an AFL lead teacher, I had to make sure that all our teachers have the tools to grow their skills in this process during our professional development trainings, community of practice, data analysis, a very important self-reflection, and clear and constant communication to reach our goal, to develop student agency. That's all for my presentation.
Thank you for listening to us.